Hi, welcome to today's Piece of Peace. I start off this morning just journaling. I often try to get into a heart of gratitude, but this morning my heart was heavier. I was thanking Him for peace and thanking Him for security, especially where we're living right now. That is an important thing. A talk with a friend this morning who's praying for us. A conversation with a brother and a sister. I was drawn to, my attention drew to just what's happening and specifically in Minnesota where I live, and the devastating effects of losing a man's life, and how the outpour of protest have expressed deep agony and in many people, those that are suffering and those whose eyes are just being opened to that suffering. My thought went to then my son, who's graduating from high school at this season, and the losses of all that they've encountered on being brought into their leadership roles or their planning for their future roles, all being uncertain, and all the celebration of who they are being lost, coupled with the loss of life that's gone on in the community, and the upheaval of those that are hurting so bad because of that, and just the awareness of something that we haven't had to struggle with, but many have, and feeling that depth of that pain and that agony of living in fear, unjust things taking place, deaths. And it brought me then to just a dear soul who I got to walk through life with, who lost her life in a car accident this week, and my heart was pondering her husband who's fighting for his life, and her children who have lost her. And my prayers were going up for these people and these families and the pain that's been going on around us. And I just cried out to God. I said, our world is so different now. I said, please calm my heart and help me to focus on your goodness, Lord. And I opened my devotion to Jeremiah 31, 33 through 37. The devotion was written by Dixon in Our Daily Bread, and it's titled The Maker of the Moon. And I'll just start to read. This is the covenant I will make with the house of Israel. After that time, declares the Lord, I will put my law in their minds and write it on their hearts. I will be their God, and they will be my people. No longer will a man teach his neighbor or a man his brother, saying, know the Lord, because they will all know me. From the least of them to the greatest, declares the Lord. For I will forgive their wickedness, and I will remember their sins no more. This is what the Lord says. He who appoints the sun to shine by day, who declares the moon and stars to shine by night, who stirs up the sea so that its waves roar, the Lord Almighty is his name. If these decrees vanish from my sight, declares the Lord, will the descendants of Israel ever cease to be a nation before me? This is what the Lord says. Only if the heavens above can be measured and the foundations of the earth below be searched out, I will reject the descendants of Israel because of all they have done, declares the Lord. This is titled The Maker of the Moon. After astronauts set the Eagle down in the Sea of Tranquility, Neil Armstrong said, that's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind. He was the first human to walk on the surface of the moon. Other space travelers followed, including the commander of the last Apollo mission. There I was, and there you are, the Earth dynamic overwhelming, and I felt it was just too beautiful to happen by accident. There has to be somebody bigger than you and bigger than me. Even from their unique view in deep space, these men understood their smallness in comparison to the vastness of the universe. The prophet Jeremiah also considered the immensity of God as creator and sustainer of the earth and beyond. The maker of all promised to reveal himself intimately as he offered his people love, forgiveness, and hope. Jeremiah affirms God's enormity as he who appoints the sun to shine by day and decrees the moon and stars to shine by night. Our Creator and Lord Almighty will reign above all as he works to redeem all of his people. We'll never finish exploring the immeasurable vastness of the heavens and the depths of the earth's foundations, but we can stand in awe at the complexity of the universe and trust the maker of the moon and everything else. Dixon's charge to us is, how does imagining God's bigness as creator and sustainer of the universe help you trust him with the obstacles that come your way? These are heavy obstacles these days, painful obstacles. How does imagining God's bigness as creator and sustainer of the universe help us to trust him with the obstacles that come our way? How does the complexity of the universe help you trust God with the details of your life? His prayer, creator and sustainer of all, thanks for inviting us to know you and trust you today and forever. I pray that we can trust our King with all that's taking place. I pray that we can trust him with our brokenness, and with the injustices, with the losses. That takes us to Jesus Calling by Sarah Young. Download her app or order her book. She writes from the perspective of God speaking to us. He says, I am with you, watching over you constantly. I am Emmanuel, God with you. My presence unfolds you in radiant love. Nothing, including the brightest blessing and the darkest trials, can separate you from me. Some of my children find me more readily during dark times, when difficulties force them to depend on me. Others feel closer to me when their lives are filled with good things. They respond with thanksgiving and praise, thus opening wide the door of my presence. I know precisely what you need to draw nearer to me. Go through each day looking for what I have prepared for you. Accept every event as my hand-tailored provisions for your needs. When you view your life this way, the most reasonable response is to be thankful. Do not reject any of my gifts. Find me in every situation. Even in these hard situations, his presence is there, the creator of the universe who had set the stars and the moon in place. Can we trust him to bring about good where the enemy meant evil? We can. He's a trustworthy God. May you find his peace. And there's your piece of peace today. Blessings.